like brought a lot of motivation back to my life to continue like working on this type of stuff. And my intentions for the call are to just celebrate that our proposal passed, you guys. That's really awesome. And that just to take a look at what we were voted to grow, and so maybe just take a look at some of the next steps and strategize a little bit on how to move forward for the next 3 months and what we can start working on. And yeah, my distractions are just I don't really have any, just work in the background and the fact that Aragon is just like being horrible. And I will pass it to Nicola.
And well, my only distraction right now is that I have full mouth of food. But wait a minute. I am feeling nice. I'm feeling ready for the call. I am grateful. I'm actually also grateful for this place. I'm grateful for this house, and actually being able to call my colleagues also my friends, and just yeah, for this great environment and for my work, all of it. Praise and give it. And my intentions for the call are, well, I want to discuss a little bit meet to makers. Um, the dates. I have some concerns. But so yeah, I want to definitely talk about it a little bit, and I also want to celebrate that we have passed and we're meant to grow and look at what it looks. Yeah, take a look at what it looks like and what can we bring and deliver in our growth version. Yeah. So passing it to Serbia.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm feeling great. This is my second day today, so I'm just absorbing whatever is happening around. I'm just grateful to Nico for devoting good 1 hour to me to just help me understand everything about Giveth ecosystem. Intentions of the call, I just am here to observe, watch, and understand again, what's happening in this working group, so that after that understanding, I can start contributing as well. So yeah, that's all. I will pass it on to Franco.
And welcome. How do we say your name? Is Surbi or Surbia?
Yes, it's Surbi. Yes,
Surbi,
you
okay.
pronounce it correct.
Welcome, Surbi.
Thank you.
Hi everybody. How am I feeling today? I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling hot, very hot. The weather is overwhelming here. I am grateful for having air conditioning in the house. To be honest, it's just like crazy hot outside. And intentions for the call, as everybody said, like just celebrate that we had to grow and see what the next steps are going to be in our grow stage of the team, I guess. So yeah, I'll pass it over to Kotabe.
GM everyone, I am feeling good. I am grateful for being part of this great family. Welcome, Surbi, also. Nice to have you here. Um, my intentions for the call, I want to talk a little bit about growth and what does that entail. I also like optimism, rush, and craziness. I cannot say that it passed, but it's less crazy right now. I cannot even say that it's less crazy. At least I'm not as engaged lately. So I also want to continue the Aprendamos Free File launches and the 3 episodes that are missing. So that's all. That's all from my side. And back to you, Ashley.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Here, I can turn my camera too. And welcome, Sari. I remember talking with you in the AMA, so it's good to see you here. All right. So I have prepared like a little bit. Here, let's bring up the proposal here. So basically, I was looking at what it means for our working group to grow and like what are the things that would mean are new things for us to be focusing on that maybe we weren't already focusing on. And so some of this stuff is like reviving the Telegram group, maybe expanding the team and bringing on like one of the ambassadors or additional contributors to the community building team, especially since Almond is going to comms. So that means some things are switching over as far as like bandwidth of team members, having some team building or bonding events, and doing some more research here. So I kind of like made this slide here of this. Like, so first of all, our proposal is passed. Yay! They didn't kill community. I didn't think they would, but yay!
Yay! Actually, wasn't there also some bonding, like some team activities?
Yeah, here. So team building and bonding activities.
Okay.
Or even just like community building kind of events, just some fun things. It's stuff that has been coming up for me as a steward for a while now. It's like when I ask what people want to see more of in Giveth, it's like we want to have some like fun little events where we can bond a little bit more, and maybe it's not always about work. So whether that looks like, I don't know, maybe we do a group meditation sometime, or maybe we do like a trivia game, or maybe we do some like just like one-off fun events. And I would love to even collaborate a bit with Gravity about maybe doing some kind of like role playing kind of things, or like ways to also incorporate some of this conflict resolution into some of the stuff that we're doing in ways that we can help the organization. And maybe some of the other working groups might have ideas of different concepts that might be helpful or something like this. So this is definitely something we can brainstorm on a lot and come up with some ideas for. So basically, I think the biggest things, number 1 and 2 on the things that we need to do next, are we have kind of decided to stop the Give Talks and the GM podcast in favor of expanding Meet the Makers in the ambassador program. So I definitely want to explore making Meet the Makers more of like a viral campaign, having maybe more frequent events, doing some storytelling, doing some project features, like using the Meet the Makers hashtag everywhere that we can, and some of these types of things. The season 2 of the ambassador program should be launching mid-August. I will be taking on the facilitating of that because of Almond moving to comms. So we're like right now transitioning she's wrapping up the things from season 1, and then I'll start like taking on the new part for season 2. So we can look at that and see what that would entail. I don't know that we're going to do it too much more I don't think the program is going to get larger, but just become like more streamlined, and maybe we'll take on more ambassadors in the next season, which is something I kind of wanted to ask you guys about later in the ambassador program. We could talk about that a little bit more. I want to start conducting some research of like similar communities and organizations, what's working for them to build community, where are they finding success, what can we learn from them, how can we create like a stronger strategy for growing our own community. I think that there's a lot of possibility to learn from other communities that are already active and have found successful ways to do some of this stuff. So I would like to be able to take some time to do some research. I think that's really important. Looking at bringing on, like I said, one of the ambassadors as additional community builder, or another contributor to the working group. So I think that by doing this, instead of just bringing somebody on and say, hey, come join the community working group and see what you can help with, I would like for us to like maybe create a role description together of like actual tasks and be very clear on what this person will be responsible for. And so if you guys as product managers have any tasks that you can delegate to this kind of person, like let's create a role description together. One thing I was thinking of, I know there's a girl that's been talking with Lauren who's really interested in helping out with some things. She actually used to be part of Giveth a while back, and she was doing some comm stuff. So I don't know if she's a really good writer, but I don't know how permanent she wants to help out or like what her bandwidth is. So I'm going to get her contact and we're going to have a call and I'm just going to talk with her about what her capacity is and what her expectations are. If she just wants to volunteer for a couple months, like maybe onboarding her completely is like more work than the value we would get out of that. But maybe she can help with some things. Like I was thinking, if you had some tasks for Meet the Makers, like just writing featured posts of projects, it's like, we could just assign her a project and she could make like a little like feature and write it out or something that wouldn't take too much knowledge of like the interworkings of everything, right? It's not like writing technical documentation. It would be really easy for a newbie to pick up a task like that. So I don't know if you have anything for Meet the Makers that would be helpful for you to have like a copywriter or like somebody. Just keep in mind as we go through this and maybe as we go through the next event, if we see where there's gaps or something, and like it would be really nice to have somebody responsible for this thing. Like let's keep that in mind and create some sort of a role description or a list of responsibilities that we could delegate to somebody else. And then the last thing is like revamping the Telegram group or simplifying the Discord server. So one question I have is if you guys are part of any like community-based Telegram groups that you liked using and it seems like really easy to navigate, maybe we can use that as kind of an example of how we could form ours. Right now it's just sitting as one Telegram channel. It was supposed to be used for announcements, but I don't think anybody posts anything in there, although there are quite a few members in there already. So I was kind of thinking, you know how we had the ETH Barcelona Telegram group and it's got the different channels, right? So maybe it's like we can create a Giveth group like this and then migrate some of our channels, like our makerspace channels, our like more community space channels that are geared towards engaging outside contributor or not contributor, sorry, outside community and like new project owners, things like this into that group. And then we could remove some of those channels from our Discord, since our Discord is like so overloaded with a lot of channels that don't even get used. Like people barely ever talk in the maker space or the giver space, but we could have places for that. This is something that came out of the ambassador program. As the ambassadors were trying to onboard people to Giveth, it's just like they refuse to get on Discord. They just refuse to even try. So we need to have I would love to have like a more outward facing place where they could come and then we could simplify our Discord to just be for like team coordination, like maybe we could still have a support channel in our Discord or something like that, but I don't think it's really the place for cultivating community. It just doesn't seem like the people aren't coming here to just have conversations about philanthropy and Web3, but I think if we are using Telegram, we could get more of these types of interactions. Anyways, I'll stop talking now. I've said a lot and maybe we can pass it around and we can kind of like bounce some ideas or something. Go.
I think I don't know if you saw, but like on the forum post of the communities working group, at the end, Giant King made some very interesting points regarding Discord and Telegram. He's moderating several communities, so I think that he has this kind of like benchmark expertise of like what's happening in other places. And he was saying that basically, in his opinion, like Telegram, it's a pain because there's a lot of spam. So he has to be constantly kind of like I can pass you the link if you want, but he has to be constantly cleaning kind of like all this spamming. But that it's great for announcements and great for some kind of like more very quick organized information. Maybe a group will make sense and you can have like a I don't know, one part that is only announcements and then one part that is more general and we can see how it works. But yeah, I think that his points were really good.
Yeah, I did see what he said, and I understand that that's an issue with Telegram groups. That's why I shut down our current one, because nobody was talking about anything except for posting like spam and scams and stuff in there, and there was not really much value coming out of it. But I do believe that like something that's come out of this ambassador program is that like people just refuse to go to Discord. They don't want to start a Discord account, and most people, a lot of people already have a Telegram account. If we can think of something else that's not Telegram that's just as accessible to other people, I think that we can consider that as an option. However, I think no matter what it is, if we have more people engaging in there, they're going to be there's going to be more spam and more scams. If we had more people coming into our Discord, there's going to be more spam and more scams in our Discord too. You know, like I think it's
Sure.
just kind of a repercussion of having more active members. So yeah, that's why I shut it down to begin with, because it was just like ridiculous how much was in there. But maybe we have more moderators of the group, or maybe we find some bots that could be helpful. Something like this is definitely something to consider. I want to make it be something that like everybody isn't, that no one is afraid to try out or to visit or to see or to engage with. You know what I mean? That it's not like such a hurdle for people.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's very important. The first friction, because people are not yet as engaged. They haven't seen the value of it, and so if the first like onboarding tool has so much friction, and then that's just not good. So I definitely agree with that point.
I think that the Telegram idea, I really like it. I don't know, like you mentioned the Ethereum Barcelona Telegram group, for example, where they have like different channels inside a group, and then you can have one for announcements, one for, I don't know, something else like a Spanish speaking community, or like one for this like discussions or whatever. And yeah, it might be a lot of work to, I don't know, like moderate it, but like also, I don't know, like you can create a channel where like you don't have any responsibility of like moderating it, or I don't know. There's like some of the Telegram groups that I am in, it's kind of like that, you know, like there's a lot of channels, and there might be like one for like, you know, go at it people, you know, and but then the other ones you can just do like announcements or just like support, or like something like that. I don't know, I like the idea. I think that people use Telegram. I'm usually I spend a lot of time on Telegram, so yeah, I like the idea of the Telegram.
Yeah, I'm also in a favor of creating a Telegram and creating a Telegram channels. I just think that if it's supposed to be as a community building tool, then it really needs someone for sure who is going to be moderating it and like helping hyping things and responding to messages and being resourceful. So I think that's, if we want to do this, I would say we just need to have a dedicated person, at least one person who's going to be committed to this. That's my only comment for this, because I like the idea, and I agree that this will be much more accessible for project owners, and like just really having a more organic, easy discussions, because most of the people already Telegram have on their phone. So that's like I think it's a good move. And adding that, really having a person who's going to be taking care of it in terms of for us actually to reach what we want, which is more community interaction and more accessibility and like resources available, then yeah, I'm emphasizing again, we'll need a person, at least one. And for the other things, I totally can see options for this girl. Maybe this girl that is coming to volunteer can help. I don't know. Maybe Serbi wants to introduce herself more. Like, I would like to know, who are you and where are you coming from? Where, if you're like a new contributor, maybe where are you willing to, or yeah, what's your story? Maybe you can be one of these people that would be interested in that. Uh, Maybe not. Maybe we need to like figure it out. But anyways, I wanted to just segue to the other ideas and comment on. Totally can come up with some tasks for Meet the Maker. I agree that we need to define the roles that we need to have in the team. So actually, like if there are more community builders, we need to definitely define not only the tasks that the new people will be doing, but I feel like maybe we just gotta make sure that each of one of us has a clear definition of what we're doing. Um,
Sure. Nicola, Ashley, do you want me to go and just introduce myself?
that'd be nice.
Awesome. So I just joined. This is my second day. I have joined as a marketing contributor, and I will be working with Ashley. I will be working with Almond closely, and because I did not have a chance to speak with Almond because I joined yesterday and she has gone for a leave since yesterday, so I'm yet to speak to her and understand how exactly the team structure is going to be, what exactly I'm supposed to work on, etc., etc. But the brief that I've got so far is that I am supposed to just understand from all the calls that are taking place this week, understand where do we lag from marketing perspective, and then figure out what exactly should be done. Because my background professionally, like I have worked with a lot of tech startups in growth marketing and brand marketing per se. And yeah, I mean that's where my forte is. So growth marketing has few levers. Just to give you a little bit of heads up, one of the lever is acquisition. So when we talk about acquisition, it is, getting more and more users on board. If we go to Giveth platform, let's say, we have, I don't know the exact number, so take these numbers with a pinch of salt. Let's say we have 1,000 donors today. So how do we increase the number of donors? That is something which I will try to do on with acquisition as a growth lever. Second is onboarding and engagement. Let's say 100 people come on Giveth website every day. Some might be interested as donors, some might be interested to make a project, but a lot of people are dropping off, right? So people are not feeling or they're not engaging. How can we increase engagement? So increasing engagement and improving the onboarding experience, that is one of the growth lever. Third is monetization. At the end of the day, Giveth is a business. How exactly can we help build a very solid engine of monetization for Giveth, so that Giveth is not really dependent on anything else down the road? That is something which I, in my head, know I should focus on, but I'm yet to have a call with Griff and Element, and I think after that I will be able to define my role much better. So yeah.
That was awesome introduction. Thank you. I'm excited to have you on the team and see, how we
Yes,
enjoy
likewise. I'm
participating.
so excited. So I met Griff long back, like few months back in Denver, and from East Denver to here, I'm like super excited that I'm part of the team now. So yes, hopefully we will work together. Like I don't know exactly if marketing is like if I don't know, like I am supposed to work with communitas. What exactly is communitas? So yeah, just figuring it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I can share here with you. I definitely think you'll be working a lot like with Almond in the communications group. Also, probably it would be really cool to have some like advisory type stuff whenever it's time, because like we're also trying to define this like strategy of bringing on meeting our KPIs of like bringing on new users and new donors and building our community this way. So maybe once we have some data, or once we like start to be able to develop some strategy, like see where we're at and how we can start to get more donors and more projects on the platform. And this is also kind of like where some of this research that I was talking about at the beginning of the call will come into play too. Like, what are other communities that are like ours? What are they doing to get new users on the platform? What are they doing that's working? And maybe it's like we look at other crypto philanthropy or crypto donation sites, and it's like, how are they getting donors, how are they getting new projects on, and how can we learn from what it is that they're doing that's successful. But Kotabe posted here in the chat already our working group proposal, so you'll be able to figure out kind of like what Communitas is and the things that we're focusing on as a working group. But I really think like having some advice from you and your professional perspective of how to start to meet some of these goals, because I'll just be honest and like say like we're just honestly trying our best. And for me, this whole like strategy thing is really difficult. For me, like my passion is just talking with people and helping people and onboarding people and answering questions and like really just like providing the path, but getting them to the point where they're like getting onto the path and how to keep them on the path and like defining these strategies and like what works and what doesn't is really not my strong suit. I'm really just like I just want to love everybody. And so having your expertise in that area I think will be really helpful for us as a working group, even if you're not like a full-time contributor to the working group or something like this, but maybe just having your perspective or your advice as advisory kind of
Absolutely, would love
profile.
to do it. Would love to do that, Ashley. I mean, strategy is something which I've done professionally for 6 years. So would love to do that and would love to help wherever I can. So yeah, happy to.
Cool. Yay.
And I
Uh,
think that at
sorry.
some point that can be a sad way to I mean, part if you see this proposal that passed, part of the proposal has a growth, a community growth angle or a community growth category tangent. I don't know how to say it. Um, I think that's where we could very much use your help. I know Ahmad has done some work. Also, Corey got into it. There's been kind of like several different experiments, but I think that yeah, we need to concentrate that into one strategy and push that forward.
Got it. Got it. Sounds really good. I don't know if I'm wasting time. Just interrupt me if I am. I just have this one question. If I want to understand more about community in order to help, what is the best way to understand? Like, can we get on a call separately, or is there some documentation that I should go through? Like, what exactly is the way I should educate myself about what's happening?
In this working group in particular?
Yeah, about this working group itself. Yeah.
I guess it's really like coming to these calls. We just kind of, and we do this call bi-weekly. So coming to these calls to see what's going on. And then we have different products within our working group, like Meet the Makers is this initiative that we're starting to expand to feature more products. They have their own goals, or feature more projects and connect them. We used to do like a quarterly event where we bring in project owners and they could talk about their projects and we invite donors and stuff. And since then, we have decided to create more of like a viral campaign around it where we're using hashtags and we have more comms and we're doing more storytelling and trying to like really pull more heartstrings and maybe have more frequent events, get it out there in the eyes, like getting this term Meet the Makers being seen everywhere. And it's not just like this quarterly event that's really curated. It's more of just like how much can we do more. And then ambassador program is the other like main product that we have right now, where we're bringing in people who are kind of maybe familiar with Giveth, knows a little bit about crypto, are interested in contributing like the mission, and then we're having sessions where we teach them about the different parts of Giveth and help them to get to a place where they feel comfortable like representing Giveth. Maybe they're doing a like onboarding projects, or maybe they're doing like a presentation at an event or something like this talking about Giveth and just like spreading the word of Giveth. We have some different like milestones that they can reach within the program, and we have rewards to give them for whenever they reach those milestones, like onboarding a certain number of projects and letting them get verified, this type of thing. And then I guess just keeping up in the forum. I also have this like manifesto document. A lot of it's also just like onboarding. Let's see. I'll post this here too. And then just like yeah, getting it on calls with people. So our product groups, like Nicola leads Meet the Makers, right? So she'll have different calls. We don't always just talk only about Meet the Makers in this call. Like she'll have product calls about the initiative where they're like strategizing that product, as well as like I'll host calls about the ambassador program that will talk more about that. I put the manifesto and link in here, but we just actually went currently our whole organization is going through kind of what we're calling a sub-DAOification process, where our working groups are becoming kind of like mini DAOs under the DAO, and each working group will have its own budget proposal, its own goals and KPIs, and ways to measure success and failure. So honestly, I think you're coming in at kind of a good time, because all of our working groups right now are kind of reevaluating where we're at, what has been working, what hasn't been working, what do we want to continue doing, what's worth spending our time and money on, and what should we stop doing. So I think it's a good place for you to come in. Other than that, I don't know that I really have much documentation. I feel like we have been a very small team, and until, I don't know, maybe 9 months ago or a year ago, like the community working group was just me, and I was just like, trying to do my best to answer stuff in Discord and just help people as much as I could. So I think that there's not a whole lot of documentation or things that explain everything that we do to a T, but I think if you just go through the Google Docs, there are some areas in there that talk about community, and also in our Notion, we have a community building spot, and I can share some of that stuff with you too. So maybe at some point, once Almond comes back and you have a call with Almond and Griff, or maybe I can join that call. Maybe I can join that call with you and Almond and Griff, and we can see, because I mean, it's going to be great to have your insight for communications, but honestly, it will also be really great to have your insight for Communitas, because communications is becoming now a chapter where they're providing more of a service, and they're not really going to have their own KPIs. They'll have methods for measuring success and failures of the different campaigns that they're running and things like that. But they're not going to be a working group anymore. They're just going to be like a service that the working group asks for needs from. So technically, a lot of the like growth stuff is going to come from Communitas. So like finding ways to grow our community, bring on new users, new members, how to keep them engaged and not fall off. That's going to be stuff that we're going to want to incorporate in our KPIs going further. So I guess it's a good time to kind of like go into this next thing now that we kind of had a time to look over some of these proposal things that have come up, and what we want to focus on next is like these things that we're going to want to measure. So I think that as product leads, as you guys are moving forward, these are the things that we're going to want to be measuring and tracking in the next 3 months as we're doing events, as we're putting out initiatives, these types of things. So I also made this spreadsheet, and this is the part that I didn't have as much time as I wanted to like do it, but I just put here kind of like the things to measure, and I would like, I made tabs down at the bottom for the ambassador program, so like what we're going to be tracking. I want to track like the number of ambassadors that graduated in season 1, the number of projects that they all onboarded, right? So this will give us a place where we can all track these KPIs along the way. And like Nicola, I kind of did some stuff for Meet the Makers, but I really don't. I mean, this is also stuff that you're more than welcome to change. I just kind of put this in here as an example or like a rough draft. So like the goals up here of the Meet the Makers initiative, like these are the goals, and maybe we add more or whatever. And then we'll want to track these things, like the number of projects that we feature in the month of July, maybe the number of hashtags that were posted in that month, how many, featured posts did we make, how many different events did we do for that month. So I think that this spreadsheet will be nice to be able to track that. I made a sheet for a tab for you too for Katabe for Aprendamos if you want to use it, but being that this is probably we might not do another season of Aprendamos, like maybe it's not really worth tracking all of this stuff. I don't know. That's definitely up to you and what you think about it, but I'm not sure. I know you have been tracking some of the stuff for the first episodes, and maybe it will still be useful. I don't know if it's useful or not.
I will just finish tracking it at least for now,
Okay.
and have all the information. Maybe we will pause it. Maybe at some point it can resume. Maybe not. But I think like having all the information there, it's worth to have.
Yeah. So I think also then something to look at here is how do we implement ways that we can measure these things? Like how are we going to know which donors we got because of Meet the Makers? How are we going to know, which donations were made because of these events? This type of thing. So is there ways that we can we can use like these links that Ahmad was showing us how to make these different like UTM links where we can track certain things if people are coming from Meet the Makers or something like this. So that's something I think that we can think about as product owners. The same for me, like with the ambassador program, how am I going to track how the projects were brought on, if they were brought on by ambassadors, if donations were brought by ambassadors, maybe like referral program links, like when ambassadors are telling people to donate, like maybe they're using their referral program link always, and then that way we can track it. But these are things to think about now as we're moving into this quarter, so we can start to implement some of these ways that we can actually track this stuff, knowing how exactly these things came in. Because I mean, I think all of our working groups, they're trying to get more donations, right? So it's like, how do we know which donations came from which initiatives? I think that I don't really know the best way to track some of these things. So as a product owner, product manager, product lead, maybe some of you guys can, maybe Nicola, you can look into some of these strategies or ways that you'll be able to track this stuff. And I think Ahmad might be very helpful. And maybe Serbi even knows some ways that we can track some of this stuff. And maybe Google Analytics has some ways of doing stuff. I'm not really sure. But let's start looking into those things now so that we can get some accurate data. I think that's going to be important for formulating a strategy, so is having the data and knowing what's working and what's not.
Thanks for doing this, Ash. Yeah, I have no idea how I'm gonna like what. I mean, that's something I'm like, even I don't want to do this, and I don't want to have to figure it out. I mean, how do we divide all the donations? I mean, all that I can do is look at what the numbers that were there before the event and then after the event, and then how do I find out the rest? I don't know. I might try to do some research. Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
like the last
I
thing I want
think
to be doing.
also like maybe we can just I understand, and I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I hate doing this kind of stuff, and I think that's why we haven't been doing it for so long, and why we don't have the data right now, and why it's been really hard to formulate this strategy, and we've been having all these initiatives and we don't know what's helping and what's not. But if we can implement these systems early on and we can find the solutions to be able to track this stuff, I think it's just like doing the research now and then we can implement it. So it's like if we're making a Twitter thread, then we always use a certain like UTM link for that project, right? So it's like, okay, these donations came because people clicked this link on Twitter. So I know you've been using like bit.ly links in some of your verified project posts. So maybe there's like some tracking we can do there. Maybe we need a paid service, maybe we need to upgrade the bit.ly account and we have like a premium account where we can make better links that help us to track this type of stuff. But I think if we do some research now and we implement these systems, then it's not like it's something that will kind of run itself once we figure out the right tools to use. It's not something that we're going to have to do that's going to be so much work all the time. It's like, oh, this is how we track that. This is how we track that, and we'll just use these types of links rather than other links.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, I totally feel you.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, I really do want to check on the Meet the Makers dates. So I'm just, yeah. Let me
Yeah,
know whenever we can. Let me know whenever I can talk about it.
yeah, let's definitely move forward into the agenda. We're already like 40 minutes into the call. So these are just the biggest things I think coming out of this proposal and the growth option and like kind of our next steps. So let's keep these things in mind. And when we go to our product calls or when we're starting to develop strategy for these, like as I'm formulating the next season for the ambassador program, this is all stuff that I'm going to keep in mind. So let's do that. And we'll just keep moving forward on some of these things. But I just wanted to make sure to get them out there and we can review some of them. And I can talk a little bit about the ambassador program, but I don't have a whole lot of new stuff, especially since Almond's gone. I know we have some like NFTs to send and the rewards to give out to the current ambassadors. I don't know how far they are on that. I need to check in with Almond. And so we're going to be transitioning over from her leading to me leading, so everything's still kind of in a gray area a little bit. But I guess for me, I created this document, we created this document here on like the to-dos for closing out season 1. and the things that we need to create to get ready for season 2. So this is all stuff that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be reaching out to people. I think the main thing that I wanted to ask you guys about the ambassador program in this call is like, what do you think about the number of ambassadors? Do you think that there's too many in a season? Do you think that that's like something that is possible? Or because for me, when I'm thinking about it, I'm trying to idealize if we are going to be conducting these sessions, we're going to be taking the time to conduct the sessions and show everybody and run the seasons and have this stuff. Like, why not have 15 or 20 people in there? Why would we restrict it, you know?
Yeah, I think that after season 1, it's not so much about quantity but quality, I guess. Like, it doesn't really matter if you're gonna like let 15 people or 20 start the ambassador program. The ones who are gonna stick are the ones who are gonna be the important ones. Like in the previous season, we started, I don't know, like how many, like 10 or maybe more. Like by the end, it was just maybe 3, 4. So I would rather have, like, yeah, like 5 that are really, like good ones than like having 20 that I don't know. But yeah, like you can start with as many as you want. Like I think that people who are like in like the people who are more interested will stay, and those ones are gonna be the one that's worth it.
Yeah, I think I agree. And we have this form that people have filled out and questionnaire that they've answered. So I think the next step for me is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to look at the amount that we have gotten and the ones that I'm like, yes, this person definitely we want. And maybe like this person, I'm not really sure. So I think you're right, more of the quality, and then start creating some of this like onboarding deck and stuff like this. So unless anybody has any reason why we shouldn't have too many people, I just feel like if we're going to conduct all these sessions and do this anyways, we might as well like have as many good people in there as we can get. All right. Okay, meet the makers, Nicola.
Yes. Well, so the only thing that happened, I mean, that changed for the whole process was thanks to the proposal being passed for a growth version. That means that we can do more frequent versions of Meet the Makers. Otherwise, all the other things have been already in works. So I just want before I'll summarize first. So we are dissolving the teams and inviting newly verified projects and also taking ownership of the homepage section where we feature the projects. And we will be keeping the hashtag Meet the Makers, and I think every month updating the page of all the new projects verified in the past month. It's a good pace. So that's the idea. And the next session will be taking 1 hour, 60 minutes, and every project will have about like 5 minutes to present. And it's supposed to be swift and fresh and just easy. And we'll be streaming on all the platforms using the StreamYard. And last time we checked, we have chosen a date, which is the July 19, which is the next week. And then the whole QF craziness came in, and we're launching QF on 18, and Meet the Makers should be on 19. And I'm not feeling good about like how close these two uh, um, instances are. And I don't want, I mean, what's the most important for me is for Meet the Makers has real effect. And I know that I think we'll be pushing a lot for QF for the next 2 weeks. So I would suggest to move the dates to like towards the end of the month as far as we can, so that when the QF launch and like this whole round is getting a little more quiet, then we can like say, okay, now newly verified projects, let's go, and actually set up some good distance between these two events, because yeah, I don't want to Meet the Makers to just like get lost in the QF round. Even though it's two completely different things, I know when the QF round we selected projects that have been on the platform for a long time and collected like certain amount of funds, where in the newly verified projects, it's a different. But I don't know how we like explain this to our audience or donors. I think this is our internal thing that we know, but I wouldn't feel personally good to say, "Hey, you're newly verified. Just like let's go and join this event," and they would see like all the other Comic Cons happening around. Hey, donate to verified project in this QF round. So
Yeah, I agree with the QF round launching. It's going to be 2 weeks long, so that means it would end on the 1st. So what if we wanted to do it maybe on the 2nd? I think Wednesday is still a good day for Meet the Makers.
yeah, I agree. Second also
How
feels
much
good.
outreach have we done? Have we already done outreach asking about the 19th or?
I'm just creating a list and I have like a 3 or 4, but I haven't committed dates to anyone basically.
Okay, cool. Well, then we don't have to like go back on anything we've already said, which is very helpful. So maybe we just plan for like the 2nd of August.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so that gives me also more space now to just like have a
And then
good
the thing
selection.
I also wanted to kind of throw out there is like on the days when we have the Meet the Makers event, if we have it right before the AMA on that day, we can invite people to the AMA to not only like learn more about Giveth, but also maybe doing some networking within each other. Because I know that that was one thing that we were thinking about, that we wanted to have a space for like some of the project owners to come afterwards and maybe ask some questions or answer some questions. So we can use
Yeah.
the AMA space during that time. And yeah, and if we have Twitter spaces or whatever, like maybe we just try to shoot for like the time before the AMA each time, and then we just have that space and yeah,
Yeah,
we can. Okay,
let's do it. Let's go for 9 a.m. Costa Rica time.
perfect.
And let's see if Suga's. So, like, basically, what Suga was about to do was do little like a project interviews and storytelling, right? And like a small sound bites or like text bites, or how do we call it? But uh, I also heard you saying that maybe this could be a task that could be done by this girl that it's supposed to be helping. So I don't know, but Suga seemed to be really excited about it too. So I guess let's see how she how much capacity she's got.
Yeah, let's see. Let's try to schedule. I see here you have like having like a regular Meet the Makers meeting, like every other Tuesday, maybe.
Yeah, let's
Let's
do
make
it.
sure we schedule it for a time that Suga can join. And I don't know, maybe you want to do the first one next week and we can get together and talk with Suga about like what tasks she's interested in taking on, and if there are any other tasks that are in there that maybe she wouldn't want to do but that Anne could help out with. That's her name. Anne is the girl that wants to come on.
Hmm.
Um, and then in the meantime I should have had the call with her by then and found out about her capacity and like what's her intention of contributing and this type of stuff, so I can also bring that to the table in the call with Suga. But I would love to give Suga the opportunity if she wants to help with some of the storytelling stuff too. I'm just also trying to think of tasks that Anne could do, and she was in communications before and she's a really good writer, so let's just keep
Hmm.
that in mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can
what
imagine.
what time are you thinking of having the call?
I would go. I mean, I would go for this time slot. That's the same time slot that we use for community building.
Okay, so just the opposite weeks. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. That
that feels
works.
good for you. Okay, I just need to. I guess need to check in with Almond and Suga. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's my proposal. That's my proposition.
Well, I think too with us being in Europe now, like maybe we can even do it a little bit earlier if it works better for Suga. I know it might be harder for Almond. I don't know. Let's check in with them though. If she can't join this time. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess that's it. Any questions or comments or? Hmm?
Yeah, the only question I had was about like the status of outreach and how much we've done so far, but I think you've already answered that, so it's perfect.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so the new date is August 2nd. Okay, perfect.
Cool. All right. Aprendamos. Katabe, did you have some updates for us?
Sorry about that. Am I unmuted now? Okay, cool. Um, Not really updates, but I am going to get back on this now that the optimism craziness, at least, it's not involving me as much. Um, so I hope that we are able to release the next episode, hopefully this Monday, tops next Monday. So I'll try to prepare all the comms for it, and maybe leave, since now I have bandwidth, leave everything prepared, not to need to stop at any other time if grant making goes crazy again. So not prepare the next one, but prepare the next three, and with that we'll have the season finished. And then it will be just be having giving maintenance and reporting every couple of weeks, seeing how the KPIs are changing. That's it
Okay,
from my
cool.
side.
And it's just how many episodes have gone out so far?
Two.
Two. And
I
how
think there
many
are
more
five.
are there? There are five total, so three more to go out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and I think editing is ready for the next two. So it's only editing. It just it's missing for one, and then we just need the comms for each of them, which shouldn't take long.
Okay. All right. And maybe if you wanted to create issues for that. Also, I was thinking, I wanted to let you know, Nicola, I made labels in the GitHub repo and the planning repo, one for Meet the Makers and one for Ambassador Program. So if you have any issues that are just for Meet the Makers, that you now have a label and we can search by that label. So any issues that you make around Meet the Makers, you now have a label for that. And I can make one for Aprendamos too if that would be useful for you.
Cool. I have the issues already made. They are all in one big epic.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to make an epic too, but I'm gonna make sure that I add the labels to the epic.
Yeah, well, I think also like in the
Very
future now that we're expanding the Meet the Makers a bit more, there might be some issues that are about Meet the Makers that don't like really fit into the epic. So I wanted to make sure that we have a way to filter the GitHub board. I want to get more active using GitHub for community stuff. So um, that was one thing. And then yeah. Okay, so the next Aprendamos episode is set to go out when? Is it scheduled for a certain day now?
Not right now. Actually, I have to edit those because it was scheduled for a few weeks back. But I think I might still need to rely on Almond to see if I believe that both of them are edited, and if it's edited, then we could push it out on Monday. I just need to. I just don't want to overcommit to this month and the next Monday, because what if I don't know, communications is not there. There is some bottleneck with communications, and there were other important communications on that Monday, or anything. I mean, also with QF, great. Like now that we're fundraising for QF and trying to launch QF on Monday, I think maybe it's better to leave it for not this one but next one.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Just check in with Almond, and
I will.
I think it's been kind of hard because we've had a lot of like scattered scheduling. So I don't know if that's affecting like our audience and their like attention, you know. Maybe people are
Yeah,
falling off, but like we said, I mean, it will be, I think, a great resource for people in the future, even if we don't have too much of a success for it as a podcast. It will still just be like a good thing to refer people to if they have questions or like want to learn more about certain concepts about refi and stuff like this. So
definitely.
all right, well, we've only got 3 minutes left, but that actually like is all the slides that I have for this call. So I don't know if we wanted to do any like just a round of final thoughts, or maybe like let's say what each of us is planning to then like start focusing on. I know we already kind of did that, but what do you want to do? Final thoughts?
I want you to do something community building wise. Like, what are you gonna do for yourself next? That's just my suggestion.
I don't know what that means. Can you start so that maybe we have an example?
Okay. Next great thing I'm gonna do for myself will be I'll after I stop working, I'm gonna go and talk to other people in the house and have some socializing time. Yeah.
I go. Last Friday, I found a tutorial about electro swing, and it's fun and it's relaxing. And I think I need more physical activity. It calms my spirit, and I think I've been a bit I don't know, anxious maybe. So when I did that on Friday, it was super calming. I just was trying to dance and failing a little bit for 2 hours, but at the end, I think that I was not so bad at it. Electro swing, it's fun. Check it out. The videos are super cool. Uh, Ashley, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of on a similar page. I think with the physical activity, like recently when I was in school, going to school so much in Seattle, I literally was just like sitting on a computer all day and then sitting in a car to go to the airport and then sitting in a plane and then in a car. And like I just have not had enough physical activity. So I want to start like going to the beach in the morning and go swimming. There's like these really cool electric bikes here in Barcelona and like just ride the bike to the beach if I can make myself get up early enough. I need to like getting, I guess, a healthy routine for myself. I need to establish a routine in this new time zone that makes sense for me. And I'll pass it to Franco. All right, Serby, what's yours? What you gonna do?
My God, everyone is talking about, getting up from bed. So yes, pretty much that's what on my mind as well. It's sorry, yeah. So